right. It's another day. It's another episode of Your Daily Scrum with professional Scrum trainers Ryan Ripley and Todd Miller. Todd, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. It's Monday.
It is Monday. Although in the future it may not be Monday. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, we get together each and every day to help you do Scrum a little bit better. Be sure to check out the description. Lots of stuff about our book, Fixing Your Scrum, website, agileforhumans.com, where all of our classes and other fun stuff exist. Community.agileforhumans.com. It's an online community full of Agile practitioners that are looking to get better at Scrum. Some self-paced courses on the Scrum framework. Daniel Vicanti's Agile Metrics course is up there. Lots of great stuff to check out. We hope to see you over there. The network is free. And come and join us. Let's participate. Todd, today's question: can Scrum and XP work together? What do you think?
In a software shop, this is my opinion. In a software shop, I think it's mandatory.
Love it.
I really do. I mean, you know my background, Ryan. The first few years of this Agile thing, I did extreme programming, right? Doing the best we could and navigating, implementing the values, principles, and practices of XP, not to a T. And I don't think it's implied that you have to do everything that XP says, but the people that I was working with at the time really dug deep into reading this book and doing everything we could to do the best we could with XP. And then we did a Scrum, and then we actually went XP and Scrum, which was a great addition to what we were doing when we went XP and Scrum.
You know, Todd, I got into this conversation, I think it was over the weekend. I sent out a tweet. I opened up the tweet machine and I got a lot of responses, and Ron Jeffries was one of them. And he ended up writing a really nice after post about it. And Ron and I think we completely agree on Scrum and XP, but he posed a great question, right? Maybe a follow on to this, since I think we have a minute or two. Once you have XP, why Scrum? And I thought, what a great question.
Yeah. I'm trying to be reflective of that right now and determine why we decided to start using Scrum. And I think that XP has a lot of really great principles, practices, and values. I mean, sound familiar, right?
Yeah. I think there's a lot of congruence between Scrum and XP.
But Scrum started answering questions that we were struggling with answering. Namely accountabilities, right? Value. In XP, it's really developer centric. And now I may be remiss in my XP stuff. So any XP nerd out there, forgive me. I mean, I haven't really hardcore studied or implemented just XP.
They have the concept of the XP customer.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah,
but it feels like that XP customer, and I think that's a great addition. But for me, Todd, and maybe this will help build out the discussion a bit. I felt that when doing XP, because I started as an XP guy and then shifted into Scrum as well. Love XP. I think Kent and others built out a great thing there. There was a lack of connection back to the overall organization. And I think when we brought Scrum into the picture, it created a cadence for us to work within that, you know, the guides and guards of Scrum are actually, or the boundaries and constraints are valuable. Time boxing was valuable. But also the sprint review especially connected us back to the customers, the stakeholders, the executives, and then the explicit retrospective gave us a focused opportunity to improve. And I think that those were some really interesting aspects of bringing Scrum into the mix. And I also will stand by this till the day I die. A daily Scrum is far superior to a stand-up, right? The daily Scrum is planning collaboration. The stand-up was more status-oriented, and I just think those slight additions, because XP is great on its own. I think Scrum is intentionally insufficient and needs something like XP for technical excellence. The two together, though, Todd, I think they just filled a few gaps that each of them have. That it's just like a good puzzle piece.
Which is kind of where I was going. You know, you're mentioning the cadence, the heartbeat that you bring, with and the accountabilities where you have like. I mean, it's really hard when you're in a group of developers, and I mean, it can kind of get to be this thing where you do kind of lose the customer a little bit, because like where your mindset is, at least where my mindset is is when I'm developing is just awesome, clean code, right?
Yep.
Like test-driven development, right? Good, awesome practice from XP. And you're talking about like optimizing your ability to deliver as quickly as possible, but you're thinking about refactoring and doing all these things all the time. It can be really easy to lose a little bit of sympathy with the customer. And Scrum, you have this accountability product owner. Same thing with your process. You just be like, yeah, but this is working. Let's not change it. Like, because we're not process junkies. If you're a developer, you're a code junkie. So I think that that brings it to it. But the flip side of that, Scrum doesn't tell you when to release.
Nope.
It just tells you that at the end of every sprint, there should be a potentially usable product increment. Extreme programming is a large advocate for small releases, right? And then practices that lead you to small releases, like continuous integration, like
release planning was an explicit topic in XP, right? And it's not necessarily in Scrum. It's more of an agile product management practice. And so I think you're right. There's some really good, and I want to be super clear to our XP friends out there. Great XP teams are delivering super valuable, awesome software without Scrum. We just tend to think that Scrum brings in a few things that can be helpful, right?
And I'm sure there's great Scrum teams out there that aren't using XP. I just think there's a good marriage here, and yeah, I don't want to get up on a soapbox and say what's better than the other, right? Like I'm over that whole thing. There aren't any agile holy wars anymore. Like let's all just work together and find what's best in the context of every situation that you're working in. You could have a shop that's Scrum, XP, and Kanban.
There we go.
You could have a shop that's Scrum. You could have a shop that's XP. You could have a shop that's XP and Kanban. I mean, and you know what is important?
Delivery. Ship it.
Deliver.
Yeah. The whole point of all of this nonsense, the whole point of this YouTube channel, our classes, our book, everything that we do is to get teams to ship it. The increment is what's important, right? If you're getting a usable increment that delights customers each and every sprint or during each and every cadence, you're winning. Keep it up. We good?
I like it. Good topic. Right. I could talk all day about XP.
End screen time. Maybe we'll come back to this topic. Let us know in the comments. Do you have any other questions about Scrum and XP and the combinations, or XP on its own? Let us know. Check out the socials. A lot of activity going on. Twitter, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Like and subscribe so you never miss a video. Speaking of videos, some videos are going to pop up below. We think you'll like them. The algorithm does too. For Todd Miller, I'm Ryan Ripley. Go forward, do some great things. If you have not read Extreme Programming Explained by Kent Beck, read it. I think the first edition is a little better than the second, but either one will do. And then see if any of those practices fit within, if they're complementary to your Scrum work. I bet they are. All right, we'll see you next time. Let us know. Till then, have a great one.